be here. Pleasure and a little bit of embarrassment because, as you probably hear, I am Russian and I'm going to speak in English, and I know that most of you guys are Russians, and translation guy is going to be pissed off by my accent, so sorry about that. Hey man. Anyway, we're having quite an interesting section right now. First, I'm going to say a few words about basic principles of product development for a startup, and after that, together with our special guest Sebastian Ramberg, we're going to discuss the topic of PR in startups. So during the next 45 minutes, we are going to speak about quite interesting ideas covering both product creation and promotion. So here we go. A couple of words about myself. My name is Dmitry Tarasov. I am product manager and founder of Chaos Control. And Chaos Control is basically a task management application for entrepreneurs, startup founders, and creative people with ideas. So Chaos Control is available on all major mobile platforms, iOS, Android, Windows, we have web version, etc., etc. And at this point, we've got more than 400,000 downloads, we've got more than 70,000 active users monthly, and we've got more than 6,000 active users per day. I wouldn't say that's quite an impressive result, but still it's quite good enough given that we're still on the initial stage of product development. Right? So I know what you're thinking. So why on earth would anyone do yet another task manager, right? So how stupid should it be to work in yet another task manager? We'll literally have hundreds of them, right? Well, what can I say? I'm a productivity geek. I've always been, I've always had a passion for task lists. Well, that happens. I've always been interested in task management, time management. I've always been reading about productivity. So choosing a category of an app to make wasn't ever a question for me, right? And actually, as it turned out, it's quite useful to work on a project if you're quite passionate about the sphere you're working on. So in my case, I'm passionate about productivity, and it was very useful because running a startup is a struggle, and frankly speaking, there are days when the only thing that keeps me going is reading positive feedback from our users who share the same passion for productivity. Well, still, you can say that's all good, man, but still we've got plenty of great task managers like Todoist, we've got Clear, we've got Wunderlist, we've got OmniFocus, so what are you going to do about it? Well, what can I say? That's actually true, but you can say pretty much the same about any app on the planet, right? So look at the App Store. With more than 1 million applications in the App Store, it seems like pretty much any application that you can think of is already there. And most likely it's free. So the right question to ask isn't actually why are you doing a task manager, is how are we going to compete with these products, and how are we going to stand out, and how are you going to make a business out of it, and how are you going to be profitable, right? And speaking of competition, and another question that comes after that is, so why compete at all, right? So why don't you do something innovative? Why are you working on some unique idea, right? So what can I say about this? First of all, if you have successful competitors on your field, that basically means that you have audience, right? So if there are such great products like Wunderlist, that basically means that there is a huge demand for such products. And speaking of innovations and startup ideas, I can say that really, in my opinion, these days startups are too focused on innovations. So they're trying to create innovative products, and the weakness of any innovation is that it takes too much time to prove itself, right? So instead of working on their product and their business, people just trying to prove that their idea is actually valuable. Right, so instead of trying to create an innovative product which solves a problem which doesn't really exist, I would strictly advise to choose a well-known problem and solve it better than anyone ever has, and focus on growing the business. All right, so task management was the problem I chose to solve, but you, of course, can choose any other category, and you just need to apply the basic principles. If there are successful products in this category, that probably means that you can be successful too. It's really important to understand. So competition is a good thing. Alright, so how do you survive the competition, right? So first things first. Of course, in order to create a remarkable product, you have to be an expert in the field where you're working on. So in our case, it was productivity. So during the work on chaos control application, we learned a lot about task management, we learned a lot about time management, general productivity, how to organize your day effectively, and we tried to apply all this knowledge to ourselves. So in the end, we came up with a goal-oriented approach for our product. So while most of the applications really make you focus on your task for today, we really make you focus on your long-term goals. So the basic workflow of the chaos control look like this. First of all, you define your goals, whether it's business goals, personal goals, fitness, etc., etc. After that, you define particular action steps which would lead you to these goals. And finally, you can use context-based task lists and daily plan in order to plan your day and in order to plan your activities based on where you are, what time of the day it is, what day of the week it is, what tools you have, etc., etc. So this approach basically helps you to achieve your goals better. And this is how we solve the problem of task management with our product. Okay? So after you decided how you solve your problem, you should focus on your competition, right? So of course, it's quite obvious that you should know the competition, you should know their shortcomings, you should know their strengths, etc., etc. So that's really a question of competitor analysis. But now I just want to show you a very simple example of how it is important to know the shortcomings of a competition, because that really can help you to steal their customers. So many of task managers don't show you the name of long tasks, so they truncate them, right? So if you can see one list, in order to see the long task in full, you have to perform an extra tab. So one of the initial requirements for chaos control was creating a task with multiple lines, so we can show a task in full. So that's quite very simple, right? So it turned out that quite a few users like this approach, and many of them switched to chaos control from bundles just because of this single feature, right? So knowing shortcomings of your competitors can really become your very important features which will bring you users. Okay, so features are important, but what is really important is understanding your target audience correctly. Right? This is so important that if you fail to understand who are your target audience, you will fail, like we did. So at first, we defined target audience of chaos control as people who want to be productive. So I was like, all right, so who needs a task manager? Seems like pretty much everyone, right? So students, teachers, developers, designers, etc., well, people who want to be productive. So, and marketing message of chaos control was like, it's a task manager for people who want to be productive. So we launched and we failed. It wasn't very successful because pretty much any other task manager had the same marketing message, right? So we started to think about it, and we quickly realized that in reality people don't want to be successful. Personally, I don't know any person who wants to be successful. What people really want is to people don't want to be productive, they want to be successful, right? So that's the nature of using task management, and actually people who want to use task management want to do that because they want to see some results. So at the same time, we realized that our goal-oriented approach doesn't suit everyone, but it perfectly suits entrepreneurs, perfectly suits startup founders, creative people due to the nature of their lifestyle, right? So they think about their goals first. And we just redefined our target audience. We decided that our target audience is entrepreneurs, startup founders, and creatives. Okay, and we changed our marketing message, we changed our description, we changed the whole marketing, and immediately seen improvements. So our downloads increased, our revenue increased. We pitched our product to Google and Apple, and we've got featuring in Google Play and App Store. And well, anyway, it's quite a success right now, in my opinion. Right? Okay, so it's very important for you, if you fail to understand your target audience, to be ready to redefine it and to tweak your marketing and your marketing message. All right, so a couple of final thoughts. In order to be successful on a high competitive application market, I would strictly advise you to work on something you're really passionate about, because it will really help you to survive depression, which usually comes with running a startup. And it's perfectly fine if you are passionate about something trivial, right? Such trivial like task management software. Don't be upset about it, because that's actually less, because you can focus more on product development instead of wasting time trying to validate your idea, right? And of course, it's important to be an expert in your field, because you've got to provide more effective solutions for problems you're trying to solve. And of course, it's important to know your competition and your target audience, right? And it's extremely important to understand what your target audience wants. So, if you're working on your own product right now, please keep going, because we really need this. Thank you.
Come on.